All right, everybody. Well, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you guys are watching this live or wherever in the United States or all across this great world. I was checking something that we are in over 111 countries out there. People are downloading, watching the videos, the replays. And so always excited to have you guys that are on the call live with us on this Monday evening. Here it's just after 7 o'clock. Really excited about tonight's topic. Everybody, tonight's special guest. Before we dive into that, there's always a little bit of some ground rules, some good stuff to go through here before we get rocking and rolling. But as always, guys, you're looking to connect with me, definitely want to take the opportunity to connect with me online via LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Definitely, we do a lot of great stuff, different photos, what's going on, people closing deals, Google Plus, and then of course the Twitter bird, tweety tweet. You can find me looking at one Scott Carson. Or you can also connect with us and catch the replays and all the different educational training videos we do online on YouTube or on Vimeo.com by looking for We Close Notes. So that's the way to connect with us. We've got a variety of people that are joining us. Some of you guys are joining us for the first time off of Meetup.com. We're glad to have you. Some of you guys have been joining us basically every week, which you guys are just like the Note crew and the family. We love having you out here. We have people investing in notes, people in real estate looking to get into notes, and people wondering what the hell, which direction do I go in real estate altogether. And so we're excited to have you guys on here. These are recorded. I'll share a link with you in a little bit here to the recordings where you can download all of the Monday notes. Pretty easy to do. Just really I appreciate all the positive feedback you guys have been sending. We get a ton of emails. Hey, I love the video, or hey, I love last week's call. I know a ton of people emailed me on last week's 30-30 club about the 30-day marketing matrix that we provided. So glad that we could be a helpful to you guys. Tonight's going to build upon that call, help you kind of automate some things. But before we dive into that, if you're not in one of our note closer meetup groups, you want to definitely take the opportunity to do that. We'll be sending a link out to that after the call tonight, but literally we are already over 2,400 plus members in the 40 different chapters of the note closer groups across the country. So if you're in a major market, there's probably one in your location. So we added just last week's stuff in Salt Lake, Tampa, Charlotte. The next phase, I believe, is going to end up being in Detroit, Cleveland, or Columbus, and then one in West Charleston, South Carolina. Oh, and then Washington, D.C. as well. So just really kind of expand across the street. It's there to provide you guys opportunity to share your deals, connect with other note investors, raise capital, find JV partners, and really help expand your network as well. But excited, 2,400 plus members, about 20 people join a day, so about one per member per day across the country. For those of you guys that subscribe or using self-directed IRAs or looking to use self-directed IRAs, in this month's Think Realty publication, they have an investor review that came out for this month and for May, June of 2016. And if you turn to page 32 in it, you'll find a great little article that I wrote. Big thanks to Poppy Frisky and Kimberly Banks-Voss for providing some content to it. But a nice one-page article that you guys can use to share in using IRAs to purchase non-performing notes. And what I can do is I can literally send out, if you guys would like, email me, we'll send you a PDF copy of that so you can use that in some of your marketing, because that's a great, we go through a couple of different scenarios in there, one short-term, one long-term. Something to help provide content that you can either mailer to your local self-directed IRA investors or something to use in your database. They kind of get the juices flowing. We talked about one longer-term deal and one short-term kind of steady-as-you-go deal. So not overpromise, underestimate. But I'm excited about that. We'll be using this quite a bit in some marketing going forward with our investor database. So I'm glad to provide it to you if you want to. As always, guys, our Note Camp is upcoming here, June 23rd to the 26th. We're about 7-8 weeks out. Website's almost done, up and running. It's the first fully online Note Investors Convention taking place. We're going to have educators, investors, vendors focused on the camp of note investing, how to find content. We'll be focused on content, action, marketing, and profits, how to make real money with note investing. So I'm really excited about to get a lot of positive feedback. I've got phone calls this week with just about every major educator and vendor out there who want to be a part of it. So stay tuned for that. You can sign up. Early bird tickets are on sale right now. They've been on sale for about a week now at $97. You can literally go to write that down, bit.ly/notecamp, bit.ly/notecamp. And it is, you do have to do all caps there on camp. Capitalize in. It is, what do you call that? What is that? This is lowercase or uppercase. I can't think that. What do they call that?
Case sensitive.
Thank you. It is case sensitive. Thank you. That's right. So use that. Get signed up. There's already a good group of people getting signed up for it. We'll start dropping things and specials into that base camp group for you guys when you're ready. Some big congratulations goes out, though. We want to put our hands together for people closing deals. People getting deals accepted and ready to close. So we got a good group from our mastermind who's got a ton of deals accepted here. And just to give you an idea of it, people getting deals closed here in the next couple of days. Michael Shane's going to get his first 3 deals accepted. He actually got his first 5 deals accepted out of Lubbock, doing some great things for him and his partner, Travis Hill. New note investor, actually at our fast track here about a month and a half ago. Gary Nash was in first of the year. Gary Nash is, as we call him, the American Ninja Warrior note investor. He was actually on American Ninja Warrior last year, but he got his first couple deals accepted. He got 4 accepted. He's going to be closing on this next week. Kimberly Banks Fawcett, rocking and rolling along, got another deal or 2 accepted. We also got David Arciso, retired Houston Police Department narcotics officer, doing some amazing things out of Houston. Big rental portfolio he has, but he's buying his first few notes, making things happen. We got to give a big shout out to Karen Han Peterson. We got a couple other deals accepted. She'll be closing on those this week. Jonathan Burton. I love this photo of Jonathan. He's actually smiling versus looking like he's pissed off. But Jonathan got another deal accepted for him out of Florida. He's in Louisiana. Randy Rodenhouse out of South Carolina got a couple offers accepted in the Ohio market. We also have Wayne Snell has got 2 or 4 offers between him and his JV partners accepted just recently. Congrats to them. We also want to throw in Rick Salinger, got his first note deal offer finally accepted. He'll be rocking some things. Rick's out of Houston in the mortgage industry, but looking to break more into full-time note investing. And let's not forget Sam McMillan. You may have recognized Sam and his dad, Jerry, closed down a couple deals last week before last. They got another 2 deals accepted. And big round of applause also to our fearless Corpus Christi realtor, Timmy Abney, got another deal accepted. Should be getting it hopefully closed here in the next few days. But really proud of people that are actually going out and making offers and making things happen. So big applause to everybody there. Jonathan, you like the LOL, but you smile. Man, you got a good smile, Jonathan. You just got to keep smiling. I guarantee you attract more honey, more flies with honey than vinegar. Anyway, everybody's smiling there because they're making money. So anyway, quick little update, everybody. We do have our next Note Buying for Dummies workshop kicking off this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's complete for those that are brand new. It's delivered completely 100% online for you guys. You can watch it from California to Maine, all from the comfort of your own home, bed, office, wherever you want to be, on your smartphone, your tablet, or your computer. It's completely recorded, delivered online. We've just got 2 hedge fund managers agreed today to be on. Excited about that. Aaron Young from Lawful & Associates will be on again. Just got a really great lineup of people that are going to be on talking about the note industry and services. You'll have a servicer. We'll have a loss mitigation company. Get some really cool stuff that we'll be knocking out for you. Any questions about any of that stuff before we rock into the main nuggets? I'm sorry, the workshop is $5.99. If you want to sign up for that, just drop me an email. We'd be glad to get you in there. Yes, all past and present military are comped in. So if you're past or present military or a first responder, we'll be glad to comp you into that as our way of saying thank you for your sacrifices. So, all right. Any other questions here? I'll give you guys a second to get caught up here. I see a few hands raising. If you can't make it all 3 days for the virtual, it is recorded. So you can make it Friday and Sunday, but can't make it Saturday. Great. You can catch the replays the following Wednesday. Plus, once you sign up, we drop you into our base camp portal, and you'll be able to watch the replays from April's workshop. Now, no, when was the last workshop? It was actually March, so we didn't do one in April. That's right. So you can catch the replays from March, and then catch the replays from the one that you end up missing this weekend. So start time on that is going to be 10 o'clock Central Time. We have a lot of people in California who've signed up, so we're going to make sure and not do it at 7 a.m. for their time. We'll start at 8 o'clock their time. All right? Yes, if you're on the East Coast, you can sleep in a little bit later. We'll go probably at about 6 o'clock Central every day, especially Friday, Saturday. Cool. All right. Well, for those of you guys that want to catch the note replays, here's the link, bit.ly/themonday-note. We've got over 60 hours of education on that link. Therefore, it takes you directly to Vimeo for you to be able to download everything, stuff you missed, replays. Great information for you. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's call, because I know a lot of you guys are struggling or looking for ways to combine your resources or combine things in one spot. Kind of automate the mundane. That's what I love about it. Automate the mundane. Our special guest tonight, I'm excited to have. We had to tweak our special guest a little bit due to a family emergency, but I'm really excited to have this guy on here. Our buddy Josh Arras, and there's this smiling photo there, buddy. Hey, Josh, welcome. Glad to have you on the call tonight, buddy. You there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And you're up in out of St. Louis, Missouri. Is that correct?
I am. The Blues game just started.
No, don't give me that. Go Stars.
They're in the playoffs. Yeah, but I'm in St. Louis. Yep.
We won't let that hold you against. We're big San Francisco Giants fans here in Texas.
Oh, all right.
I may not want to tell them. They may hang up on us. But anyway.
What about the Sharks?
There you go.
We won't talk about hockey too much.
Exactly. Josh has been the lead trainer for REI Black Book for how long now, Josh? You've been there for a while, haven't you?
It's been a few years, yeah.
Been a few years. And Damon Ramey is a buddy of mine. We're in the Collective Genius Mastermind together. Just raved about Josh. Man, I can't make it because of family emergency, but you're in better hands. You probably like talking to Josh more than me anyway. So one of the great things, for those of you guys that are new on the call here, we don't bring just anybody on to these Monday night calls. We bring them on. We only bring on vendors or people offering something that I've either used myself, or there's other note investors that are in my inner circle of mastermind that are using it, that rave about it. And REI Black Book is one of those things. I actually sat down with Damon a few years ago when he was at the Noteworthy Convention. We kind of tweaked on some things that he could use, or you guys are using, to create kind of the platform for the note investors. But I don't want to take too much of your thunder. I want to turn this over to you and let you work your magic, buddy. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Sweet. Should see a thing pop up that gives you control.
Yep. Let me know when you can see it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, everybody. Well, hey, if you're going to, Josh goes through good stuff. If you have questions, type them into the question and answer session on here. If it's right on task what Josh is talking about, we'll be glad to bring it up. If it's something that's not on task, save it till the end. You'll have plenty of time to ask questions at the end. If something's not related specifically to this, it's more generic note stuff, please save it to the end, because if you put it in here right now, I'm probably just going to delete it because we always get bombarded with a ton of questions. So without further ado, take it away.
Nice. I like it. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, I am more than happy to stay on the call for as long as needed to get those answered. One thing I do want to say, some of these examples I will give will be a little bit more real estate specific, but I promise you anything that you see in here can be applied to the note business as well. My dad uses REI Black Book for his business. He's a loan officer. My fiance actually uses it for her business, and she is a cake designer, funny enough, wedding cake designer. So if she can use it for building wedding cakes and building her business, I promise you could use it to build your note business as well. But what I want to talk about today is obviously REI Black Book and how to build and create systems for success. So we'll just jump right in. So what we're going to cover today is the 5 pillars to success in any business, and also the top 2 reasons most investors fail. Okay, so jumping right into the 5 pillars, it's going to look pretty basic to you. You've got your marketing. Obviously, you got to market. You've got to then, after you kind of drum up those leads, you have to follow up with those leads, sift and sort, and figure out which ones are actual hot leads, legitimate deals. You then have to manage the deal. take the deal to closing, and then you kind of go and you start all over and start marketing again, okay? So what this journey kind of looks like, especially for, a newer business owner, a newer investor, whatever it is that you're doing, you go out, you market, you drum up some business, you follow up as best you can, you manage the deal, and then you go and you close the deal, right? And it kind of looks like this roller coaster, because what ends up happening, hopefully you can see my mouse, what ends up happening when you're over here, when you're working, you're managing the deal, and you're taking the deal to closing, what you're not doing is marketing your business and following up, because there's no systematic approach to ensure that it happens, right? You're doing everything yourself. And so if you're spending 90% of your time making sure that deal closes, because that's obviously the most important thing right now, you want to get that deal to close, you're not marketing and you're not following up. And so then what happens is you have to go right back to where you started, and now it just creates this perpetual roller coaster where, yeah, you're doing deals and you're kind of following up as best as you can. You're closing deals, but then you have to go right back to where you started. And you could certainly do, a couple deals, maybe a few deals like this a year, and you'd be fine. And you wouldn't really need any systems in your business, although it's probably going to be a lot more stressful process, and you're not going to be able to create the financial freedom or, the lifestyle that you're probably seeking. I would assume, if you're sitting on a webinar Monday night, you're probably trying to, seek a better lifestyle. You're trying to figure out how to create that financial freedom. And the way to do that, which is the fifth pillar, is to build systems for each one of these functions, right? So build a system for marketing and follow-up and managing your deals and closing your deals. And so that allows you to get paid consistently and repeatedly. So you're not stumbling your way through a few deals a year. You've got a streamlined process or a system to ensure that you're going to be able to always have leads coming in the front while you're busy, working on the higher level priorities of the business, which might be managing the deals or taking the deal to closing. So let's take a look at kind of what the system means. A lot of you may have heard of Michael Gerber. He's the author of The E-Myth, which if you haven't checked it out, it's an awesome book. Again, it's called The E-Myth. So what he says is his kind of definition of building systems is organizing around business functions, not people. You want to build systems within each business function and let the systems run the business and people run the systems, because people are going to come and go, but the systems in your business are going to remain constant. At least that's the whole idea, right? So if I go back to this here, you want to have a systematic approach to generating leads. So you know that no matter what you're doing, whether you're on vacation or you're working in your business or you're sleeping, you're generating leads, right? And then those leads are automatically, systematically being followed up with. You can then manage the deal and have systems to do that. And then, of course, ensure the deal gets taken to closing. Now, just to be clear, this doesn't necessarily mean that every stage of this process and every system has to be technology. It doesn't. You're going to have certain people that run some of these systems. Technology can make your life a lot easier, and that's what I'm going to show you later on in this presentation. We'll jump into REI Black Book, and I'll show you some of the technology that can simplify your life, but it doesn't have to be technology all the time, right? And so, obviously, you must have systems if you want to build a sustainable and successful business. And if you don't have any systems, it's probably why you have inconsistencies in your paychecks right now if you're getting paid or doing deals at all, okay? The systems also have to be easy to implement or you're not going to do it. If it's super confusing and you need a programmer on staff and you've got to have 6 different software systems, a website over here, an email marketing system over here, and your database or your spreadsheets over here, it's not going to happen, or it's not going to be efficient, and you're just going to end up creating really another job for yourself, right? You're creating more work for yourself than even before. So it's got to be super easy to use so you can actually have a life, right? Like I said, we're also going to get into the top 2 that most investors, or really business owners for that matter, fail. And number 1 is absolutely that they do not have any sort of follow-up systems in place. The reasons why a lot of people don't follow up is they just don't like to do it, right? I mean, think about, if every day you had to call 100 people and 98 of them are going to tell you no, how long are you going to do that, right? You're never going to close the majority of your leads. It's like, you can kind of think of it like baseball. If you went up there, if you're a baseball player and you hit the ball the majority of the time you're at bat, you would be batting over 500, and
Right.
you'd be the best baseball player to ever play the game, right? So you're not going to close every deal that you come across, but if you follow up and have systems in place to follow up, you're gonna close a lot more deals than not, right? So we'll get into some stats, and I'll show you how to create some of these follow-up systems in a little bit. Number two is that if you don't do it, it doesn't get done, right? So you have to do it or it's not going to get done. And I don't just mean follow-up, I mean everything. So as a small business owner, you wear a lot of different hats. I'm sure you've probably seen a slide similar to this in the past, right? Because you're in charge of marketing, right? You have to generate the leads, especially if you're, a solopreneur. If you're doing this on your own, many entrepreneurs have, some teams and their life's a little bit easier. But a lot of people that we talk to are actually, more solopreneurs, and they're kind of doing everything themselves. And that's really where technology can help you out. Because right now, you're in charge of marketing, you're in charge of screening deals, going on appointments, setting up closings, funding deals, getting money for your deals. It's 2016, so that means you're probably going to need a website, and that means you're the web developer, you're the web designer, you're the IT guy, you're in charge of customer service if you've got a disgruntled buyer or seller on the phone. You got to go to the bank to cash your checks, which is a good problem to have, but you still have to do it. You want to create systems so you can automate what you don't want to do. I know a lot of people say, you might have heard the term automate what you hate, right? So you have to be self-aware enough to realize what your strengths are. So looking back at this, what do you wake up and enjoy doing? Is it generating leads for the business? Well, then focus on marketing and automate some of those other tasks, follow up, and maybe if you build the systems, again, doesn't always have to be technology. If you take a systematic approach to all those pillars of your business, you can hire people to work the quote-unquote machine, right? You can build the machine and then hire people to run the machine. Some of you may not be there in the business yet, but it's super important to be self-aware and know what your strengths are, because if you're trying to do stuff every day that you hate doing, you're going to end up hating your new quote-unquote job. And I know nobody wants to have a job anymore, so it's not the most popular word these days. But whatever you want to call it, whatever you're waking up and doing every day, you don't want to hate it, right? So if you create systems, you can hire people to do what you hate or automate what you hate. So what we're going to do, and again, Scott, if you come across any questions, feel free to interject. I'm happy to clarify anything.
No,
what we're going to do right now.
I think you're totally hitting right on a few hot points, Josh, because a lot of people, just knowing my students and knowing people that come to their workshops and things like that, you hit the nail right in the head. People are worried about marketing and sending an email blast out or reaching out to, maybe not to motivate sellers, but we have motivated asset managers. You know what I mean? And so they're trying to, it's important to have a website because a lot of these bank asset managers are looking to see who the hell is this Yahoo calling me, And so, we have an evaluate deals like you should on there, and then also follow up with our vendors in a timely fashion. And so, it's like the attorney calling me when they should have just called my other vendor, Richmond Monroe, to get the file and things like that. So I call it plate spinning.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and you can kind of plug some other words or terms in, because obviously you may not be dealing with distressed sellers, but like you said, distressed asset managers or whatever the case is. Like I told you guys at the beginning of the call, my fiance uses these same business principles and actually the same exact software systems for her business, and she's a wedding cake designer. And there's always any business where there's leads to be generated, people to follow up with. You're going to have systems like this. It doesn't matter if you're walking dogs or if you're buying and selling notes. And so what we're really going to focus on in the rest of this presentation is going to be marketing and following up, because those are really the two pieces of the puzzle that are going to be directly proportionate to the success of your business. So how many qualified leads can you generate, and how much follow-up and how many touch points can you create to ensure that if that person is going to sell their note or buy a note, that they do it with you, because you're the one that's been communicating with them. So the first step is marketing. And so you got to generate the lead first. You got to generate the interest. You got to get eyeballs to your website or to your landing pages or whatever the case may be. The problem is most people are doing it wrong if they're doing it at all, right? And I talk to so many people, and they say, Josh, I don't need these systems in my business because my business is built on word of mouth. And that's fantastic, right? I mean, word of mouth is the best. Those are the best leads you can get. The problem is you're not in control of word of mouth leads. You could, talk to your referral partners and kind of, jazz them up and incentivize them a little bit to start, giving your information out more and referring more business to you. And I would continue to do that if you have a referral-based business. But you want to make sure as a business owner that you're in control of your own destiny. And marketing is the only way to do that, because it's really, at its core, it just becomes math, right? And if you do it for long enough, you'll notice, okay, I send out, 1,000 mailers a month, or I do, I spend $500 in Facebook ads a month, or whatever your metric is. If you do it long enough, you're going to start to see trends, and you'll know that, okay, if I want to do 2 deals this month, I either need to increase my follow-up or I need to spend more money on marketing. But it really just becomes a mathematical equation after a while, right? You have to kind of build the systems and take a look at it for a while. But most people I know, especially in the real estate investing world, they know that, for example, if they send out 1,000 mailers a month, they'll get, 50 phone calls, and out of those phone calls, they'll get, 10 qualified leads, and they'll close 2 of them, or whatever the math is. But it's pretty consistent, okay? Like I said, the problem is most people aren't doing it, and if they're doing it wrong, because they've either got the wrong focus, they're inconsistent in their marketing, it's not measurable, and they're using the wrong tools. Any one of these, or, probably 2 or 3 of these is usually the case when people are marketing their business. The reality is it's not really your fault, because we've all kind of been brainwashed by big media companies to think that, okay, I've got my face on, and realtors are really guilty of this, and I'm not bashing realtors, and I don't really know how many of you guys on the call would be realtors anyways. But, if you put your face on a billboard or a bus stop, or, you go and get postcards with your face on it, that's kind of what, if you watch Vistaprint commercials, that's what Vistaprint's selling you, because they're kind of selling you their own agenda. The reality is nobody really cares about that, right? Nobody cares if, you're the -- home buyer or you sell the most notes. While that does give you some credibility and that's good, that's not something that that people care about, right? Another one is, if your logo is green or blue. I talk to so many people that stress about, they haven't sent any marketing out because they don't have their logo perfected yet. And that's something that people just don't care about, right? If you look at any of these big companies, if you look at any of these big companies that have been around for, 50, 60, 70 years, their first logos were kind of laughable, right? But they get money, they hire designers, and they get better logos. Those are the kind of things that we're not going to talk about today, is the color of your logo, right? What we are going to talk about is technology overwhelm, because that's a reality today. There's so many options out there. There's so many different technology software platforms that you can go and subscribe to that are going to be the solution to your problems. The problem is that there are so many of them. So what this is just kind of a quick picture to give you an idea of the evolution of basically marketing software systems over the last few years. So in 2011, there was more than 100, but really 100 major players in the marketing automation space, if you will. 100 softwares that you could go out and subscribe to. A year later, there was 350. In 2014, there was 947, and that number doubled in 2015. And I don't even know what it's going to be at the end of 2016. But at the end of 2015, there was 1,876 different software solutions that you could go and subscribe to, and this is just a bigger picture of that. Okay, so there's SEO tools, there's email marketing tools, mobile marketing tools, event and webinar hosting tools, CRM tools, all of which are important, but you could literally go and spend $800 or $900 a month subscribing to software platforms. And I mean, I know, because at REI Black Book, I mean, we subscribe to damn near every one of them, right? I mean, we've got our monthly software subscription bill is outrageous, but the reality is it makes life a lot easier, and you just have to look at it and justify the quote-unquote cost of the software solution that you choose, because in today's day and age, in May 9th, I think it is, in 2016, if you're not using technology in your business, I'm not going to sit here and say that you're going to lose, but you're making your life a lot harder, okay? The trick is finding the software that's easy enough to use that fits your business, right? So you're not having to go out and kind of Frankenstein this system together. Because if you do that, it's just going to leave you confused and unclear and perplexed and any other crazy adjective that you could think of that means confused, right? So the solution, or I guess marketing the right way, is to have a simple focus and to start small, start super targeted and kind of build from there. But have a simple focus, so focus on one particular niche. And I apologize, I'm not an expert by any means in the note business. So Scott, if you could maybe help me out, just give me like a target audience in your market.
Yeah, well, let's talk about probably raising capital, because that's probably, you can use this to automate, because if you're reaching out to asset managers, we can pull lists of asset managers from some different websites that I go through on my workshop. So people have a way to reach out to it. It's just a matter of doing it on a regular basis, like you talked about earlier on.
Correct. Yeah, and that's right here is consistency, right? So like the example I always give, and I'm sure a lot of you have had some sort of experience in real estate. I could be wrong, but the example that I always give is you could go and you could, like I'm sitting right now in St. Louis in 63116 zip code. There's probably, I don't know, let's say 3,000 houses in the zip code. I could have no idea how many there really are. But I could go and I could send a postcard to all 3,000 of those houses and probably get 50 phone calls, not a lot, because it's not targeted at all. And then the message is not targeted either. Okay, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But you want to have a simple, clear focus. So if I'm sitting here and I want to market in 63116, I want to try to find people that own properties in the zip code that live out of state and they're behind on taxes. And it takes some work to find those lists, especially one that's specific. But out of the 3,000, there might only be 150 or 200 people that fit that description, but they're hyper-targeted and they're qualified already. Because if they live out of state and they haven't been paying their taxes, something's going on, right? Yep. So we can target them, and now we also know what their issue is, so we can speak to it without being too invasive, right? But you can speak to the issue too. Second step is consistency. So you don't just send one mailer and say, oh, damn, I didn't get, I only got one phone call, and that person told me to jump in a lake, so I'm going to quit. You don't just go and put, one ad on Craigslist or one ad, one Facebook campaign once a month and spend, $100 and say it doesn't work, because you're right. Spending, doing one direct mail or, one ad on Craigslist once a month is not going to work. It takes consistency, and, it might have to be every other day. It might have to be every month. It depends on the medium. It depends on, who you're targeting, the situation. Is it direct mail or is it Facebook ads or is it Craigslist? But you've got to be consistent. And again, it comes back to creating the system to create the consistency. You've also got to be able to track it, and it really, really helps if it's all built on one platform, which, surprise, REI Black Book is a fully integrated platform. So it's kind of an all-in-one software suite for the real estate industry. And we'll get into that a little later. So again, you've got to just simplify the focus on your marketing. Focus on people with problems. Okay, so you don't want to go broad and just send a mailer to everybody, because you're automatically disqualifying people there. Or you don't want to go and do a Facebook ad to everyone that lives in St. Louis, all 3 million people that live in the greater metropolitan area, because most of the people aren't going to need your service. But that's what people do because they don't take the time to educate themselves on marketing, right? And it's a big waste of money, and it's going to cause you to just, bang your head against the wall. So find people with problems, provide the solution, and a certain percentage of those individuals are going to respond. Sorry, my little dog's sitting right here. She's
That's
barking.
really good. We're a pet-friendly environment here.
All right, cool. But yeah, a certain percentage of those people are going to respond, right? And just think about, especially in SEO is kind of a tricky deal, but the reason I bring this up is not to go tell you to do SEO, and it's a great strategy, but we're not going to have time to talk about it today. But people are not thinking about, how can I find ABC note buyer company, or how can I find the note buying company that has the coolest logo? What they're thinking is, how do I buy discounted notes? Or in this example, how do I sell my house fast for cash? Or how do I sell my house fast for cash in St. Louis, Missouri, or whatever market that you're in? People are looking for solutions to their problems. They're not really looking for brands or companies unless they're going to buy like a running shoe, right? I mean, if you've got the money and the power to create a brand like Nike or, Keller Williams, then maybe that's a different story. But most of the people I talk to, that's not the case, right? Because that's a lot of money. And again, you got to be consistent with your marketing. Most people aren't consistent, and again, that's why they're failing, or it's why they're wasting money on marketing. So you've got to be able to put it on, quote unquote autopilot, right? I mean, you're still going to have to manage the campaign and things, but there's different mail houses, different websites you can use, like clicktomail.com or postcardmania.com, or there's social media automation platforms and things, and I can talk more about it at the end. If you guys have questions about that, just jot them down. But do your best to put those things on autopilot. You've got to be able to measure it, too, to make sure that it's working. Because if you're spending money on marketing and you're not measuring it, then that can be really dangerous in and of itself. So you might have heard this quote before here. I think it's from the CMO of JCPenney, if I'm not mistaken. He says that, I know half of my marketing doesn't work. The problem is I don't know which half. So the problem with that is he doesn't know what to pull back on, and where, because what you want to do ideally is, if your marketing strategy is not working, you want to stop it, and if it is working, you want to do more of it, right? So you want to take the funds or the time and energy or whatever it is that you're spending here and reallocate it to what is working. But if you don't have metrics in place, if you don't know what how many people are visiting your website, if you do a Facebook ad, or if you do a direct mail piece or a Craigslist ad, how many people are actually responding to that ad, then you're just kind of, you're just kind of taking a stab in the dark, right? Mm-hmm. I just want to give you a quick little case study here, and this is, real estate specific, but Wayne Schaefer's a guy out of Chicago area, I believe, like kind of Gary, Indiana, Chicago area. He did over 270 deals in 2015, and he uses REI Black Book systems specifically for landing pages, lead capture, his phone capture system, and also just general marketing tracking. Okay, he just actually bought a new Hummer last year to advertise his business, which is obviously no small sum of money. It probably costs like 50 or 60 grand. But what ends up happening is he drives around, and he's got a sign on the side of his car, and it just says, "We buy houses," with a phone number, and then also a URL here for his landing page, right? 24hourshousebuyers.com. And again, this could just as easily be 24hournotebuyers.com or whatever you wanted it to be. I don't necessarily suggest going and buying a Hummer, but I'm telling you, it's working for this. It's working for this guy. No joke. Because what he can do is, when people go, and you can see up here, this is 24hourshousebuyers.com. It's taken to a landing page. All right, so it's pretty simple. It just says, "We pay cash for your property. We can make you a fair cash offer and close fast." Okay, so this is a landing page that he created inside of REI Black Book. All the content was basically provided for him. He just customized the web form, so you guys can build custom web forms and ask for any data that you want. Down here, you just see what's missing. So you'll notice this is a landing page, not a full-blown website. And the difference, if you don't know the difference, landing pages are sometimes referred to as splash pages or microsites, lead pages. There's a lot of different words for them. But it's basically just a one-page website, and there's no navigation. So you don't have, a home button up here and a blog and a About Me page and a, notes or properties for sale. Because what that does is it gives people more options. It distracts them, and they're not going to give you their information. So a landing page can typically convert at about 15 to 20%. And when I say convert, I just mean people giving you their contact information. They typically convert at about 15 to 20%. A traditional brand website converts at about 1 to 2%, just because there's so many distractions. Okay, both are important, but they serve different purposes. Landing pages are more for marketing-specific, direct marketing campaigns where you want to capture people's information, all right? So after somebody submits information on this page, he can actually go in and look at his analytics. He can see from his, and by the way, that URL is only marketed on that Hummer. So he knows if a lead came from that URL, they first saw it on that Hummer, or maybe somebody referred it, whatever, but the lead initially came from that Hummer. So you can see he got 200.
Let me run a scenario because we're getting a few questions that are popping up here. I don't want to lose people.
Yeah.
So, like the page used 200, so 262 people saw his Hummer, went to the website, clicked on it. For those of you who are on here, your Hummer might be your specific posting on LinkedIn in LinkedIn's distressed asset manager group, or it may be a different posting, a Facebook ad that you target in one of your top 5 or top 10 state markets looking for investors. It might be a blog post. There's a whole variety. It could be a specific, if you do a daily, or like Timmy, you do a really good Monday video. Maybe you have a specific link that's out there in YouTube for that video that takes people to this landing page that then people opt into it. And that kind of takes us to the next level. And I'll shut up now, Josh.
Absolutely. Yep. And so this really just represents an advertisement, right? A marketing piece. It could, like Scott said, it could be a blog post, a LinkedIn post, Facebook ad, a postcard, whatever. It really doesn't matter. It just really represents some sort of an advertisement. And so the important thing is, though, you've then got the analytics, because if he just paid $60,000 for this Hummer, or you're investing, like you said, one of the viewers here does a Monday morning video. If he's not getting any traction on that video, but he continues to do them, maybe that's probably something that he'd want to know, right? Of course, YouTube or wherever else you're doing the videos will have analytics built in, which is great. But you can see he got 262 page views, and this was actually just 1 month. So we ran this little screenshot here towards the end of last year. It was from October to the beginning of November. So in 1 month, he had 262 people go to his landing page. Of those, 12 people filled out the form for about a 4.5% conversion rate. Now, just know, when I said a typical landing page will convert at about 50 to 20%, he's asking for a lot of information here. Mm-hmm. And so if he would have just asked for name and email and maybe phone number, he probably would have got closer to like 12 to 15%.
Right.
Okay? But these are more qualified leads, because the more information they're willing to give you, typically the more qualified they are. It doesn't mean they're ready to do business with you today, but they've got a little bit more of a higher motivation to do business with you than if they just gave you like their email. Okay, especially if they give you their phone number. So you can then, of course, see who the contact was. This is captured inside of the CRM system, inside of REI Black Book. And he can go and view those contacts if he needs to, okay? You also notice that there's a phone number on there, and just like the URL, he only markets that phone number on his Hummer, so you can now see he got 12 leads from the landing page, but he got 91 people that actually called in those last 30 days, and 24 people left messages. So he's now got over 100 leads in 30 days from that Hummer. And by the way, the Hummer's not going anywhere, right? He still drives it around the city every day. So this is again just kind of that compounding factor where he's now generating 100 leads a month. And I don't know if these statistics are if he continued this or not, but my assumption would be he did. He's now generating 100 leads a month, and so he's getting the leads. And what we're going to talk about next is actually following up with those leads, because again, 98 of those leads are probably going to tell him no right away, or they're going to want more information. They may not say no, they might just want some more information, right? And so this is a screenshot of the AMP system, which stands for Auto Message Pro in REI Black Book, and you can see who excuse me, who called, their phone number. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. Who called, their phone number. And then you can call them back and get more information from them. Right? So I'll dive into this when I go through the software itself. But just know that you do have call capture built in too. So you can actually do pre-recorded marketing messages. So you can have people call the number, dial a unique extension, and they could hear a 90-second, 2-minute, 3-minute marketing message, which can kind of be your perfect sales pitch pre-recorded. right?
So let me give you an example. Let's go to an example because people are asking, well, how do you mean? Let's say I've got a note for sale in St. Louis. I could I could post it just like a normal post on Facebook on my business page, picture the property with my specific phone number for this that would ring through REI Black Books. I could start, promote it on Facebook for a little bit and target everybody that calls in off of that or calls in or does what they need to do to get information. And call, hey, I've got this great non-performing 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house. The borrower's willing to make a modification payment of $500 a month. You pick it up for $15,000. You've got yourself a 40% ROI right out the door. It's all pre-recorded, correct?
Absolutely. So you can pre-record that and again, kind of perfect the pitch, so to speak, of that note, and then as many people can call it 24 hours a day, and then you capture all their phone numbers as they call in, and based off the extension they dial, you would know what note they're interested in, because maybe extension 4 for this example is specific to that note.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. So yeah, that's a great example. So, and then of course, the tools have to be simple to use and they need to be integrated so you don't have all these different, micro systems all over the place. Okay. So it's good to have an all-in-one platform where your marketing automation is built right in. You can manage your website. The contact management or CRM is built directly in and it integrates with your website and all of your lead capture. Content management like blogging and SEO and social media and all that. And a little hint, REI Black Book obviously does all of this and much more. Industry specific is a major plus as well. So we've identified, some different highways of marketing. I'm not going to go too deep into this just because it might be a little different for the note side of things. But, you've obviously got your offline marketing, okay, and that's direct mail, billboards, bandit signs for real estate specifically, different media buys like radio and stuff. Referrals, you've got online business, you've got, MLS and FSBOs, which again are kind of specific to more real estate. But we've identified 43 different lanes to help grow your business. So whether it's Facebook, Craigslist, there's a lot of different strategies. Mm-hmm. We don't really have time to cover all 43. I can go into one that's really, really cool. The primary use of it would be more on the real estate side. So Scott, I'll kind of let you, if there's enough people on the call that you think would benefit from, I think you've heard Ruben's Bandits on a Wheel story.
Yeah, Damon shared this story about Ruben and how kind of creative. And so share the story, and I'll come back and help tie it in to where people can find the similarities if they can't see it smacking them in the head, okay?
Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll kind of go through it quick. But basically what ended up happening is Ruben, kind of his whole backstory, I mean, he's just a super driven, motivated guy. It's kind of crazy. So he lost his father right before going to college. He had a scholarship to the University of Texas for golf. He's a phenomenal golfer. The story actually kind of ends up kind of happy with him in the whole golfing world, which is pretty cool. But he went from being able to go to college to play golf on a scholarship to working in like a body shop fixing up cars. And again, he's super driven. He didn't want to leave his family behind, so he went and got a job fixing up cars. What ended up happening was, he went to a real estate seminar, the 3-day deal. He bought a big package, learned how to invest in real estate, took a ton of action, did a couple deals, and in one of his classes they told him to go and get, car magnet signs and put them on the side of his car. So Ruben pretty much is a guy that just listens to what people tell him to do, people that have been successful before, so he went and did it. Problem was, so kind of a funny story, he's pulling off the highway, pulls into a Walmart parking lot, and some little old lady gets out of the car and kind of, rushes up to him and says, hey, sir, I've been following you for the last few miles, and I couldn't read the phone number on the side of your car, and a light bulb kind of went off in Ruben's head because he worked in a body shop and also did vinyl stickers for cars. And so he thought it'd be a pretty good idea to actually put the marketing message, use a vinyl sticker and put it on the back of his car window instead of the door, right? So more people could see it. So he started out recruiting family members to advertise his business on their cars. They did it, and I think he got like I don't know, 20 or 30 of his family and friends to do it. But when he started going out to cold traffic, he didn't have a way to track it, right? We said tracking is key. It's important. So he would just talk to random people, and they'd say, well, how do I know that you're going to be able to, to know that the lead came from my car? Because he was paying his family or friends a percentage of the deal when he closed the deal if it came from their car. And so as it started to scale up and there was more people with, white Honda Civics or whatever the case was, Damon, who's the owner of REI Black Book, noticed what he was doing and kind of introduced the phone system to him, that tracking system. So every single sticker on the back of someone's car got a unique extension. And so he actually went from having 19 cars on the road to now he's almost close to 300 now. This slide's a little old. All because he can now track it. And so it's the same phone number on all of his cars, but in the AMP system, like I said, you could have unique extensions. And so he now knows when somebody calls off one of his 300 cars, he knows exactly who owns that car. If he does a deal, he knows how to pay him. So that's kind of the short story. But I can go through a little bit more specific, but that's kind of how it works. So he goes to Craigslist. This is an example of some of the stickers on his cars, right? Phone number, you got an extension, and then he basically finds these guys on Craigslist and just tells them, hey, his whole idea is, hey, you can come and put a sticker on the back of your car. If somebody calls it, with my marketing message, if somebody calls it and I do a deal, you'll get X amount of dollars or a percentage of the deal, or however he pays them out. But he's now got people all across the Phoenix market. He's in Phoenix, all across the Phoenix market, driving around with his marketing message. So this is like the most passive form of marketing that you could ever imagine, and he's like a systems fanatic, and so he doesn't do any of this anymore. He's hired young kids to go and install the stickers. I now think he actually charges people because he does so many deals. He charges people to put their sign on the back of their car because so many people are actually getting paid out, which is kind of crazy. I don't necessarily recommend doing that to start out, but he's been extremely successful with it. So, that's the short story behind it, but it's a great way to market the business.
And everybody needs to think of as for every back window that Ruben has could be a different Facebook group, a different LinkedIn group, a different social media page, a different, a whole variety of things to attract investors, to attract asset managers, attract, sellers if you're looking for some brokers out there. That's the best way to do it. I call it shotgunning the barn. He's gone from shotgunning with 60 pebbles to 200-plus pebbles in Arizona.
Absolutely. And, and if you guys do any real estate, this exact strategy would help tremendously in the real estate business. And it works for retail realtors. It works for people that do rehabs, buy and holds, wholesalers. Doesn't really matter.
Right.
So, we'll. I won't go into the specifics of how he does it. But basically just know that he's got it so systemized, and this is actually part of the offer today is kind of his program, so I'll go into it a little bit more towards the end. But it's basically all done for you. All you got to do once you have it set up is just answer the phone as the seller lead starts to call in. Okay? And he's got, I'll skip ahead with some of this, but he's just got people all across the country that use the system that he's set up with great success. The only reason I say it is because he's not this anomaly that it only works for him. He's got people all across the country that use it. And you can see here, you just got different extensions, and they're sourced to different people's cars. Okay. So Ruben's actually been able to, I just want to kind of give you the rest of Ruben's story. So that strategy kind of helped propel him to doing so many deals that he was inducted into the Rich Dad Education Hall of Fame in 2014. And he's still an avid golfer, and I'm pretty sure this week actually, let me give you some numbers here. So in 2014, he did $300,000 in profit, primarily from wholesaling deals. Most of his deals came from his cars. This weekend, he is, I think this weekend, maybe next weekend, he's playing in the U.S. Open qualifier. He literally only works in his business 3 hours a day. Like I talked to him, like, Ruben, no BS, man. Like, don't give me like the hype. He's not the hype kind of guy, but he's hired some people. Obviously, he's got people on his staff, but he works in his business 3 hours a day. The rest of the time he hangs out with his daughter and he golfs. And this weekend or next weekend, he's playing in the U.S. Open qualifier. He finishes in the top 20. You guys will see him on TV. He'll be playing in the U.S. Open in next month or whenever that is. And he's been able to do all of that and kind of pursue his dream, which was initially golf, because he's systemized his business and automated things. This is just him with Damon's daughter teaching her how to putt. So it's a pretty phenomenal story. I mean, he is the kind of poster boy for just kind of living the life that you want, and he's truly built his life around, or built his business around his lifestyle, not the other way around. So with that, real quick, I just want to get into the importance of follow-up, and then I want to jump into the demo of the software, because I'm sure you guys are going to want to actually see how this stuff works. But this is really, truly where 92% of investors and business owners fail miserably. And you guys can probably relate to this. If I was standing in front of a room and I asked how many people follow up with every single lead more than 5 times, I would guarantee almost nobody's hands go up, right? And it's because there's no systems in place. And I don't blame you. There's no way I would call somebody that's already told me no 4 times a 5th time, right? Because it's just, if that's all you did all day, again, you'd hate your business. And so,
but that's where the money's made, though. I mean, Josh, 80% of sales, and people have heard me say this, 80% of sales are made after the 5th contact. And especially so much in this industry, because I will agree, calling once a week for 4 weeks straight isn't the most effective thing. And people will forget after 30 days. But there's been times, and I'm saying this because as people are reaching out to asset managers and special asset managers and these guys that have notes for the bank's portfolio, some people will send one email out, but they will never follow up 3 months, 6 months, 12 months because they get too busy doing other stuff. They just don't have the system in place to follow up simply enough. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. I mean, you could have the best product and you could have somebody that needs it, but if it's not the right time, they're not going to buy it or they're not going to sell or whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? It's got to be the right message to the right person, and it's got to be at the right time. So all 3 of those, you have to have all 3 of those in order to actually get the deal, right? And it's really, really hard to get all 3 of those at the same time, and that's why setting up the follow-up systems is so important. So many of you have probably kind of heard the whole, sales funnel or marketing funnel, so you can kind of think about these 4 stages as a funnel, right? At the top, you've got your suspects, and those are drawn in from marketing. You've then got, and it always becomes smaller as you go, right? You've got all your suspects that you're kind of filling to the top of the funnel. And these could be visits to your website. These could be visits to your Facebook page, clicks to your landing page, whatever it is. When somebody actually comes in and opts in and gives you their information, they then become prospects, and you can follow up with them, right? And turn those individuals into leads, turn those leads into deals and money, okay? So let's just take a look at some numbers here. If you get let's use a website, for example. If you get 500 visitors to your website per month, if you're really doing well, you get 100 of them to opt in, which for this example is not necessarily realistic, but let's just go with it. You get 100 prospects. Out of those 100 prospects, through follow-up, you've identified 2 that are legitimate leads, and through your salesmanship, you actually close one of them and turn that into a deal. Okay? So conventional wisdom would tell you if you want to do 2 deals a month, what do you got to do? You got to go out and you got to get 1,000 suspects. You got to get 1,000 views to your website. You got to send out 1,000 mailers. You got to spend $1,000 on Facebook ads a month, whatever it is, right? You got to spend twice as much money. So let's just assume that this number equates to a dollar figure. So if you're spending $500 over here to do a deal, now you're spending 1,000 to do 2 deals. Pretty simple, makes sense, pretty straightforward, right? I would encourage you that that's not the smartest way to go about things.
Right.
Right? Because what you're doing is you're already spending the $500 a month on marketing to get the suspects to come to your website. you've got 100 people's contact information. It may only be emails, but that's okay. You need to work this group of people, the people that have already opted in and expressed some sort of interest in what it is that you're offering. You need to go back and work that database. And for those of you guys out there that have an existing database, you've got a list of contacts, this is where all your money is sitting, right? Your money is sitting in the people that initially tell you no. It's your job to turn those no's into yes, and you do that through follow-up, right? So if you could spend the same amount of money, generate the same amount of leads, but through follow-up, get two people that identify, two people that are legitimate leads, four people that are legitimate leads, and through salesmanship, convert two of those actual sales or deals or whatever you want to call it, that's the ideal situation. Now, if you want to do both of those, spend more money on marketing, generate more leads, and follow-up, then that's even better, right? But you don't always have to spend more money on marketing to generate more leads, and that's why follow-up is so important. So that's really the way to go. So only 2% of suspects, those initial people that you talk to, are ever going to say yes on the first call. And depending on the industry you're in, it might even be less than that. So 98% of people are only going to act once you've built trust. So why is it so difficult? There's just so many things going on. I mean, you've heard it a million times. There's however many thousand marketing messages are pushed your way per day. You've got billboards everywhere. 20 pieces of mail in your mailbox, 150 emails a day, whatever it is. There's just too much stuff going on, right? That's just the reality. These aren't necessarily negative. It's just the reality of doing business, psychological and transactional realities that we want you to be aware of, right? So unfortunately, people buy or sell or take whatever action it is that you want them to take when they're good and ready, not when you need a paycheck, right? So it's important to understand that people are not going to call you when you need to pay, your mortgage or when you need to pay rent or whatever it is that you're doing. They're gonna buy or sell when they're ready to do it. But you got to be there when they're ready because again, you got to create the right message to the right market at the right time. So you want to make sure you're there when they're ready. And this is kind of alluding to the statistic that Scott threw out before, but we'll go through it because these numbers are really important. So 2% of people, like I said before, are ever going to say yes in the first touch. All right, so that means maybe they visit your website, they opt in, boom, they're ready to go, or they pick up the phone and give you a call, and you one call, and it's like the best day ever because it happens like maybe once a year, right? But it does happen. 3% of people are going to say yes on the second touch. 4% of people say yes on the third touch. 10% of people say yes on the fourth. And a whopping 81% of sales that occur after the fifth touch. Okay, so you got to get past that fifth touch. The problem is most people give up, and these are real stats from the I think the Association of Sales Directors, and so this is kind of across the board for businesses. But 44% of people give up after the first touch. 22% of people give up after the second. 14% give up after the third. 12% give up after the fourth. That means 92% of people give up on an eventual yes.
Wow.
So 8% of business owners.
Those last two slides.
I'll send them over your way.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy if you really break it down and you think about it that way. 8% of business owners are left to get 81% of the business because they're following up. No other reason. They don't even always have the best prices or the best product, unfortunately, but they're just following up and they're there, right? So it's important to follow up. It's pretty obvious why it's hard to follow up. There's other things that you're focused on. Sticky notes are all over the place. Again, you're sending the wrong message to the wrong target at the wrong time. There's a million different ways you could follow up, and then you don't talk to people the same way either. So again, for a real estate example, you don't talk to people that are in probate the same way you talk to them in foreclosures. You don't talk to, asset managers the same way you would talk to, Scott, who would you say?
I wouldn't talk to an asset manager the same way that I wouldn't talk to a normal note buyer. Somebody's buying.
Yeah,
it's a different conversation.
The problem is now there's not just a cookie cutter follow-up plan either. Because you're talking to 5 or 6 or 7 different types of people. So I just want to show you real quick, kind of visually, what this looks like from a system standpoint. So this right here represents, again, some kind of an ad. It could be a Hummer, it could be a blog post, it could be a LinkedIn post, whatever. You're going to drive them to, from the, you can see it's kind of hard to see, but this just says www.sellyourhousenow.com. You know, it could be whatever domain you want. That's going to drive them to some sort of a landing page or a lead capture page. They're going to opt in. They're going to give you their information. You can then take them to another page if you wanted to, and all this is possible inside of REI Black Book. You can take them to another page where you ask for more information. This is kind of like an upsell, if you will. Okay, kind of putting a little wrinkle in it, because a certain percentage of the people that filled out the information over here will give you the more information, and you know these people are a little more qualified and they require more attention. And then you can send them to, you know, your website where they can kind of meet you and your team and get introduced to your brand and all that stuff. Okay, all of this can be built in REI Black Book. Now, while this is happening, their information goes directly into what we call the Client Genie, which is the CRM system inside of REI Black Book. Automatically, and again, it depends on what type of web form this is. If this is a web form for note buyers, you would have a specific email campaign set up and created that goes out automatically. Email 1 might go out right away. Email 2 might go out 7 days from now. Email 3 might go out week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, so on and so forth. The whole purpose of these emails is to get them back to here, right? Because right now what you've got here is you've got a funnel, right? It's a sideways funnel. It's on its side. But the leak in the funnel, so to speak, is right here. Because what you really want, we got their name and email, and that's great. We want their email address because we can create automated follow-up. We don't even have to think about it. But what we really want is maybe their property address or the address or more information on, you know, the note or what types of notes people buy, whatever that information is. Or these email templates could have your phone number on there, and you may be driving into your phone number. Whatever it is, it's creating a return loop is what it's called, right? So if we don't get the result we want right away, you've got safety guards in place, which is your follow-up plan to get them to return and go back to where you wanted them to be. And a certain percentage of these people are going to do that, and this is 100% automated, especially if you're doing it through email, okay? So maybe you can send out 1,000 postcards or advertisements, 100 people come to your landing page and fill it out, and 30 people fill it out. Of the 30 people that get here, 10 people give you the additional information, and they end up on your website. Okay? So how many of these 100 people can you get to come back and give you their information? You know, how many of these 30? The whole idea is creating these return paths or these return loops. So hopefully that makes sense. I hope I didn't go over anybody's head with that, but it's super powerful being able to create these systematic approaches to capturing leads and following up with them.
It makes complete sense. It makes complete sense.
And I'm obviously not a designer, so it's a kind of a ugly slide, but hopefully it serves its purpose. Let
me share. Let me rock everybody's mind here. Let me rock your mind because you're doing a great job, and I know a lot of people use REI Black Book for motivated seller leads. Well, think about this, everybody. You're getting lists in. I've used this before. I'm going to give you a little dark secret thing, all right? When I get lists in of leads of asset managers, if I've got a while, if I've seen that list has been sitting around for a while time, I will send out a postcard to those borrowers. Very similar to what he said here. If I get a list that's 500 asset manager or 500 notes where I know the borrower's name, the mail, and address, I know they're in distressed trouble. We can all agree to that. So I send out a postcard like, hey, I'm interested in buying your house, or I'm interested in looking at your house, or seeing about buying your house or helping you with the bank. And when those 500 people respond to my website, those are almost 99% the easiest modifications, the easiest deed and lose, the easiest short sales you will ever see. Somebody just went, oh, my God. And yes, Lee, you can have multiple funnels running at every given time. Now, Christina's like, wow. The thing about what I do is these lists get cherry-picked over quite a bit. We all can agree to that. Some are there, some are not. But for those lists, when I get, especially end of the year, lists that I've seen dragging around for a while, I know the asset manager has sold it. This helps me identify deals inside those lists that nobody else touches, and this is a great way to make it filtering. Jeff just gave birth to kittens, he said.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all about creating an automated process to sift and sort your leads, because you're not going to be able to treat every single lead the same or give every single lead the attention they deserve if you're doing it manually, right? So you're not going to be able to follow up with even 100 people a week the same way or give them the same attention if you're picking up the phone and giving me a call. And then they may not be available, whatever the case is. Even if they're not opening your emails, they're at least seeing them come in, and maybe they're reading the subject line. They're getting just constant messages from you and your brand. And while I haven't talked a whole lot about branding, because you could be an extremely successful business owner without having a strong brand, to that one individual person, it creates a brand, because now they're seeing you every week in their inbox. Maybe they've gotten 5 postcards from you. Just because they've never responded doesn't mean that postcard might not still be sitting on their fridge. But if you give up and you don't send another postcard, or if they stop seeing your ads on Facebook, they just forget about you, because there's just there's so many other things going on, right? And that's just the reality of business these days, is there's so much other stuff going on, they'll just forget about you.
Mm-hmm. Question from Lee Jones: can we add people into a predefined funnel from a phone call or business card? Yeah, of course you can, Lee. Sure can.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So you could, hypothetically speaking, you could just go to your own website and you could put their information into your landing page and then get the automated system, or you can do it directly in REI Black Book as well.
Yeah. Or, Lee, one of the things you can do is whenever I go to an event and I'm speaking somewhere, or if I get the registration list, first thing I do the next day is I send an email out to everybody that either I got the list from or everybody adopted the business card, directing them to something like a webinar or directing them to a video series. So, yeah, you could do it from phone calls or business cards. The biggest thing is what Josh is talking about, which is so awesome, is the power of REI Black Book, so that you don't have to have 1,000 different things going on. You don't have to MailChimp and Mobit and a text messaging service and all this other shit spread all over the place. You can have it all really in one spot for you.
Exactly. So, hold on a second. So one thing I did want to show you is, we do have 19 different follow-up campaigns already created. You'll notice the majority of them are heavy on the real estate side, but you can create your own campaigns. You can take the ones we have and tweak them. We do have a couple no-fire campaigns built in here already. But you can build as many of these campaigns as you want to. So, we've got a couple people, like you can see this guy here, Mark Menard. He's got over $1.7 million in real estate holdings at this point. The reason I wanted to bring him up was because he was kind of skeptical about the whole thing. Like he says here, I was skeptical of autoresponders, but somewhere between number 3 and 5 they call, right? And that's, again, it's just the reality of follow-up. It becomes just simple math after a while, that you'll see that the bulk of your responses come between your 3rd and 5th mailer or your 3rd and 5th email touch or whatever the case is, right? So, Scott, like you said, the money's in the follow-up, obviously. And so if you guys aren't following up with every single one of your leads at least 5 to 7 different times within probably about 6 months of contacting the first initial contact, you're losing out on a lot of money. And so that's what I want to be able to show you how to do. We're going to jump in, and I'm going to show you inside of REI Black Book how you can build some of this stuff out. And obviously, like you can see here, if you kind of try to just remember to do all this stuff, or you've got it on your Google Calendar, or you've got a notepad, or whatever the case may be, you're going to forget to do it, right? Your mind's a terrible database. I know if I don't have it in my calendar and it's not a to-do or it's not automated, it's probably not going to get done, because there's no way I'm going to remember to do it. There's just too much stuff going on. So, without further ado, if you want to go through, if you've got any questions that we want to address before jumping in, I'd be happy to do that, and then we'll hop into REI BlackBook right now, and I'll show you how easy some of the stuff is to use.
Sure. We got a quick question here for Christina. Does REI BlackBook have a texting feature as well?
Yeah, so people can text to join. So you can send a marketing message out and say, text your email address to this phone number, and they'll be put on a specific campaign. Mm-hmm. We don't have text blast capabilities yet. It's something that we're retooling that piece of the system right now that will exist in the future, but today we don't.
Yeah, but the idea is if you're talking to somebody, hey, I have a text messaging feature I use through Infusionsoft, and it's so helpful because people sometimes would rather text you their number than send email or phone number, and then they just click everything straight from their smartphone. It's a smart thing, and it's a cool thing you guys are rolling out. And Damon said that's in the works for pretty relatively soon.
Yeah, so you could literally, like if you're at a networking event or conference or whatever, you could have a pre-built campaign, and it could literally just be a simple follow-up campaign. It could just say, hey, it was great to meet you at XYZ event. But you can just say, hey, text your email address to this phone number, and then you'll capture their information directly in the system, and that autoresponder will go out automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other questions?
Nope, we're good.
Cool. All right. So let me jump into the system here. And so you should be able to see REI BlackBook now. You guys see that?
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to run you through just a quick little dashboard here. So right now, this is just the home page of REI BlackBook. So you can easily access all of your landing pages directly from here. You can create an unlimited amount of landing pages, which are those lead capture pages we were talking about. You can create up to 3 websites, which we're going to do live on the call together. I'm going to show you how to do that. So you can access all of your websites from here. You can also build out all of your action sets, custom web forms, and opt-in pop-ups, and I'll explain these in detail as well. But just in case you guys have existing websites and you love the websites, you don't want to get rid of them, you can actually create custom web forms, and we give you the little piece of code that you can embed on your site. So it'll still be integrated with our CRM, and you'll have all the back-end functionality that we've been talking about this whole time, meaning you'll capture the lead, the follow-up process will be automated, but you can keep the existing websites that you have. If you don't yet have a website, it's extremely easy to build websites in REI BlackBook, and you can customize them any way you'd like. So, you can build out any of the kind of content that you'd like for your note business. You can blog, and you can do all that. You can easily see all the leads you've generated. So you can see today, the last 7 days, the last 30 days. You can see in the last 30 days, this account is just a demo account. This account has captured 14 leads from web forms and 1 lead from an opt-in pop-up. You can also see all of your to-dos and your tasks. So all of your overdue to-dos, everything that you have to do today, and then everything that's open. So you could view them right here if you wanted to. This is just like a dashboard when I'm showing you. All the tools that we have exist under here. Real quick, you can see the phone calls you've received. So, over the last, I believe it's 30 days, I've got 15 phone calls, 0 texts, and 0 messages. Mm-hmm. And then properties, which may not be quite as big of a deal for you guys, we do have a property pipeline where you can manage properties throughout the deal. Okay.
Now that's a question. Do you guys tap into anything for like market values or no?
You can run comps, and you can actually analyze. You can analyze the deal and run through. I can show you guys, but yeah, you can run comps.
Cool.
And analyze ARVs and things like that. So what I'm going to jump into first is just the websites. So if I click View Websites, you can see here I've got 2 websites created. So like I said, you can build 3 sites if you want to. I've got 2 created right now, and if I wanted to go in and build a 3rd one, so for you guys logging in for the first time, you would just click Create New Site. Then you've got 6 different templates that you can choose from. So we've got what we call an authority site, which is just kind of like an all-in-one overarching brand website. You've got a buyer site, which is where you would list all of your properties, seller sites, rentals, and rent-to-own. You've also got a generic business site as well, which is just kind of like placeholder content for any business that you'd want to create. So if you're trying to build like a note website, this might be the one that you'd want to build out.
Right.
So if you were to do that, you just click Build Site, you click Yes, let's do it, and the system builds it for you. The video is going to pop up. It's going to show you kind of what to do next, but we're going to go through that right now, so we won't have to obviously watch that. But you get an email within about 5 minutes to let you know that your website's created. Now, we're not going to sit here and wait 5 minutes for the site to build, but basically what's going to happen is once it's built, it's going to look like this. Now, this is a real estate site. It wasn't that generic website, but it's the exact same functionality.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is just the website right out of the box. A couple things I want to point out. All of these websites are SEO friendly. That doesn't mean that they rank right out of the box, but it does mean they have all the necessary plugins and features for you to either optimize your website yourself for search, or if you wanted to hire somebody to do it, you could with these sites. They're also responsive, so they respond to the size of the screen. So you can see here, this is kind of what it would look like on a cell phone. Whereas, if you've got an older website, it's probably not mobile responsive, which means that it's not going to look good on mobile. And if you didn't know, they're predicting, which if it hasn't already happened, it's close to it. They're predicting in 2016 that the majority, like the overwhelming majority, like 65% of web browsing is going to be done on mobile devices or tablets, not on desktop computers and laptops. So your website, number one, you need a website. You got to have a website. It needs to look good nowadays. I mean, there's been for a long time people said, it doesn't matter what your website looks like as long as the content's good. I mean, you're not going to run you out of business because you got an ugly website, but with the tools nowadays, it's so easy to create nice-looking websites, especially in REI Black Book, that there's no reason not to, right? You don't have to go and spend.
Exactly. I was to say here, you're exactly right. I mean, that's what you're saying about everything being mobile. You need to have it mobile-friendly, adjusting it. I mean, you're ringing bells here, buddy.
Good.
We did have a couple questions.
I hope I'm doing.
Yeah.
Some questions.
What are the can you use your own domains for the URLs of the websites? I'm sure you can custom theme.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So we give you up here, you kind of see this long, ugly URL up here. This is just the pre-hosted URL we give you, so you can actually build your site on it. And when it's ready to officially launch, you attach your domain name to it. So this allows you to build your site without having to create that under construction page or coming soon page. So you'd want to come in and do some customization, and then when you're ready to go, you attach your domain name. Now, if you've already got a domain name outside of REI Black Book with like GoDaddy or something, that's totally fine. You can actually import that in and then use that domain with any of our website or landing page templates. If not, you can purchase your domain names with us, and it's just $9.99 a year. We don't charge any monthly hosting fees, and it's even easier then to take your domain and attach it to your website. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Any other quick questions?
Yeah, okay. Does your call system set up record the calls as like CallRail does, for example?
Similar, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Can you add functions to a site that I may need? Also, can this do workflows like GoBeFlow and Podio?
In what relation? Meaning that it's integrated?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, so it wouldn't integrate. Are you asking if you could integrate it with Podio and GoBeFlow?
You can use it like Podio, where you can add workflow to it. I was going to say yes because I know Damon's talked about that multiple times. I've talked to him about that before as well. So
yeah. And so I'm just going to show you real quick again how easy it is to edit some of these websites. You don't have to touch any code. Up here in the top left, you can see this button, Edit Page. I'm just going to click on Edit Page. And if I hope we had some bad storms here, so I hope my internet's going to cooperate. All right, there we go. So we're now actually in the page builder, and everything that you're seeing that's highlighted in blue is an editable field. So if I wanted to change this little piece of content to, let's just say, I don't know, we buy non-REI performing notes. You can do that, and you can see here you don't have to touch any code. You can see what it looks like on the front end. So this is just called front-end editing. I could change this background image if I want to, and we've got so many training videos that show you how to do all this stuff. But I would just replace the image. I would replace the image with, we've got a bunch of stock photos, or you can go take your own photos. You could go buy some stock photos if you wanted to, but I'll just choose this one. Click select photo, and you can see how easy it is to, oh, my internet's got to cooperate. Sorry. There we go. It's just being really slow. But you can see now that the background image is changing.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's going to do it because I think I'm having issues with my Wi-Fi, but hopefully you can see here that it's really easy to move stuff around. So if I wanted like this button up there, I could move the button around. Maybe I don't like this little piece of content, just totally delete that out. And you can rework these websites to make them look however you'd want. When you're done, you just go up here to the top right, hit done, publish changes, and wait for my internet. And so this would be a new photo, obviously. I apologize that it's not showing up, but hopefully you get the idea there. You can also you can create custom web forms, like I said, and ask for whatever information that you want to, and you can drag those out anywhere on your website that you would like.
So if they need a new phone number, if they have a different, like you said, a couple different pages for phone numbers, do you guys help assign the phone numbers on that?
They can buy phone numbers. So you can get one free phone number with the system through AMP. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get one free phone number with an unlimited amount of extensions, and any other phone number that you would want is just $5 a month.
Oh, okay. See, there you go.
And we've got like a national database of phone numbers that they can pull from.
Do you have any limitations as far as contacts in your system?
Right now it's 15,000 contacts. We're looking to expand that, but the majority of people don't have any issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is 15,000 right now, and then 5,000 email credits per month. And so let me just show you one other thing too. So let's go to, I'm just going to pull one of these random stop foreclosure. So if I click on edit page, and I come here to the opt-in pop-up, so what's going to happen is this is what's going to pop up when somebody clicks on that button. And if you guys have questions on this, write them down because this is important. So when somebody fills out their name and email, you don't just capture their name and email. You can see an action set is associated with every web form and opt-in pop-up. So if I click on actions here, every single person that fills out this particular form is going to automatically be categorized in the CRM as a seller lead. They're going to automatically be flagged as a distressed seller. They're going to get the autoresponder campaign for distressed sellers, which is, I believe, 6 or 7 emails that goes out over about a 2 or 3 month period. And they're also going to be assigned the flag for asking for a cash offer inquiry. So what this does is it's just continually adding people to your database, but it's automatically segmenting them so you know exactly who they are. And that's going to be important later on down the road when, 3 months later, 6 months later, you need to go back and market to your list. You can't just send an email blast to everybody because not everybody's going to be interested in selling their house or, buying a note or whatever it is that you're trying to do. All right? So the action set's really important. And you can create custom action sets. You can make, you can create all your custom categories that you want, all of your custom flags. You can create custom email campaigns and all that. So I'm just going to save the action. I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to publish this. And I'll go and fill it out so I can show you in real time what this looks like. So come here, click Get Your Free Report. I'll just say, all right, click Get Your Free Report. And so now if you remember in that funnel I was showing you before, what I did was I just asked for the name and email, but now it automatically takes me to the second page where I'm asking for more information. Now if this person gives me this information, what it's going to do in the system is automatically flag them as a hot lead because they kind of took the extra step. They jumped through that extra hoop. So now you can go back and see how many hot leads you generated in the last 30 days and, or the last day or the last week and follow up with them manually. Give them a phone call because they gave you their number.
So did the white pages or the report something that's on file here with you guys, or it's something that they need to be creating for their own stuff? Because they still got to provide content, right?
Yeah, so for some of this stuff, we don't have specific websites for notes necessarily, so you still have to provide that content. But we do have some content built out for notes. We do have an email campaign that's built out, and I believe we do have one free report which you could use as a lead magnet. And then, of course, if you guys are investing in traditional real estate as well, we've got 18 other follow-up campaigns with the lead magnets, with the free reports and the email campaigns and all that created.
Okay.
Because this what I'm showing you right now is just a website right out of the box. All the stuff's created, the action sets are built, and so now if I go back into my account here, go to the home page, you'll see that I now have one opt-in pop-up submission when before it was 0. I can click on this button. I can see who it is. So again, this is all right out of the box. So everything's integrated right out of the box. So unlike Podio or GlobiFlow where you kind of have to build it out a little bit, or pay a bunch of money to get it built out, this is integrated, so it's one system. So I can click on the name of Josh Note Buyer. It's going to take me to their contact record. And now we can see a few things that happened automatically. Number one, we obviously captured their name. We got their email address, and they're automatically segmented as a seller lead. They're flagged as asking for a cash offer inquiry, and they're also flagged as a distressed seller. I can also see when they opted in, what web form they opted into, because this is important when you're tracking your marketing. It's good to know where they came from. And then you can see the email that already went out. And so today, you see 5/9 at 8:32 p.m., which is local time here in St. Louis, that email went out. I can click on this button, and it's going to show me the email template. You can see the message bounce because I put in a phony email address, but if this was a real email and they would have opened it, you'd be able to see what time they opened it and if they clicked on the link. And so you can put all of your information in, your email address, your phone number and everything. So if and when they're ready to do business with you and you're keeping in contact with them every week for the next month, 2 months, 3 months, they can pick up the phone and give you a call. They can respond to your emails, whatever the case may be. You can, of course, add notes. So maybe you get on the phone with this person and just say, Josh was not ready to buy a note. Call back in 45 days. And so now what I can do is go into my to-dos for this particular contact, add a to-do. I can just say call to follow up. You could, of course, add more details for the follow-up and then go 45 days out, which I'll go just out to like mid-July. And then flag myself for a phone call, and I want it to be a high priority. And then just hit save. And so now on July 13th, you're going to be notified that you have to pick up the phone and give Josh Note Buyer a call. It can completely be out of sight, out of mind, but in the meantime, the autoresponders are going to be sent to him. There's going to be 6 more emails that go out over the next 42 days. And so he told you to follow up in 45 days. So he'll actually be contacted via email 7 times between the time you talk to him and 45 days. So he'll either be predisposed to you and your marketing messages, or he might actually pick up the phone and give you a call because he's ready to do business with you before those 45 days are up. And again, this is all completely automated. And so you don't have to remember to send the email out once every 7 days. The system does it for you, and it's all included in this one system.
Nice.
Any questions up until this point?
No, it's got a few questions, but people are asking questions. I'm just kind of answering them as it goes here.
Cool.
Some simple questions. Yes, if they opt out, you still get to keep their contact information.
Yep.
Yes, you can keep as much information as Josh was just showing you on the contact, so it stays in the interaction history for you, so you see what's going on.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. So you can, like, as these notes start to get longer and longer, you can pin notes if they become, important, and so they'll always sit up at the top here. Because some of these, sometimes depending on how long the relationship is with this contact, these could be pages and pages of notes. So you can pin important notes. You can also go in and obviously add a lot more information to this contact record. You can also create up to 20 custom fields. That's probably a question somebody may have. So if you've got specific fields to the note buying industry, like I know my dad for his business, again, he's a loan officer. What he has is he's got his custom fields built out for, the type of mortgage that his client has, the length of the mortgage, the rate, and all that stuff. So when rates dip below, let's just say rates dip below 3.5%, he can go and run a report and see everybody who has a loan of 4% and higher that hasn't refinanced in the last 6 months or year or whatever the time period is, and he can start sending emails to those people or direct mail pieces or whatever it is. But he doesn't have to spend any more money to capture those leads. He's already got them. Now he just needs to follow up with them. Obviously, if he's doing direct mail, he spends money there, but he's got the list, and it's segmented, and he knows who they are.
You could do this for people that have reperforming notes. It could be something you follow up with people. Hey, you are in a forbearance agreement. Did you make your payment on time this month? Did you make your payment on time this month? Hey, you're halfway at the third month email. Hey, if you made your payment on time, you're halfway through to your forbearance agreement. Or are you filling out your hardest hit funds? Or that kind of stuff, people. You can automate a lot of kind of the follow-up servicing stuff that's kind of lacking out there. So.
Yeah, we have, I'd say about probably 40% of our users, if not more, have some sort of a side business, and a lot of them use REI Black Book for their side business as well. So you just kind of have to think about, what are the important, key performing indicators or whatever you want to call it. What's important in my industry, and how can I make this system do what I need it to do for my business? Because, again, if my dad can use it for mortgages and my fiance can use it for cakes, I guarantee you can use it for notes. I know you can because we've got a lot of people that do it.
Totally. You guys have a ton of clients that are in the note business space. Totally. I mean, whether it's performing or non-performing. Yep. So.
Absolutely. A couple other things here in the contact records. So you can see here I've got 1,069 contact records total, and as people start to fill, as the contacts come in, they start to fill out web forms. They'll again automatically be segmented, and you can then see how many cash buyers you have. And again, use your own terminology for this, but you can see I've got 396 cash buyers. What if these are note buyers? Maybe I've got something for sale, and I want to send an email to all these individuals. Well, you don't have to now go and use MailChimp or anything like that. You can the results straight to the client touch, and you can actually send an email blast. So you can now see that these 396 buyers are in my client touch, and I can send them an email blast. I just click on email blast, and now I can say, hey, I have a new property for you. We've got all of the mail merge fields built directly in.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use all the mail merge fields. We've also got templates you can use. You can create your own templates. This is just an example here of a property flyer template that you can create in REI Black Book. And so then you can blast it out, and it'll go out to all 396 of those individuals by clicking Send Blast Now, or you can schedule it to go out up to 7 days in advance.
See, that's a beautiful thing is people are getting lists, and we all build relationships from people across the country. And so this is a great tool that you guys could use as you're building a nationwide list, a database of people that are also note investors. Maybe you get a list in that's exclusive to you that you're like, hey, I'm not going to buy in Louisville, Kentucky, but I've got 4 people in my database that are interested in Louisville, Kentucky, or that live there, investor, that I can literally send an email out, hey, I got an asset in Louisville, Kentucky at 123 Main Street. Here you go. If you're interested, let me know, and I could get this under contract for you real fast. Or wholesale if you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where a lot of people lose money on. They look at a list like there's nothing to make an offer on, but they fail to connect the dots, Josh, with their existing database. Shit, I just flew cross country to Paper Source. There was 300 real estate investors from all across the country, but I ain't going to send them a damn email afterwards because I don't want to send them anything. There's money sitting on the table to be made.
Yep, absolutely. And you could also, I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll, if they get, let's say they go to an event and they get, I don't know, 50 or 100 business cards, they'll just scan them into their virtual assistant, and the virtual assistant will create flags, or they'll segment them for which state they're in. Because again, it's follow up, and it's also you got to send the right message to the right person, and it's got to be consistent, right? So if you get nothing else out of this presentation, obviously systems are extremely important, but you got to be able to segment the leads and follow up with them with their proper message. And so you can't follow up with the proper message if you don't know who they are. You don't know who they are if you don't segment the leads.
Exactly.
All right, so with that said, we've also got, let me just jump into the AMP system real quick right here. This is the phone system I was telling you about. So when you activate your account, you get one free phone number. So you can get a local number or a 1-800 number. I always recommend local numbers. You can do 1-800 numbers. We've got numbers all across the country. And when somebody calls in, they'll just kind of hear a general greeting, like as if you were to call a normal business. You don't have to do it like this, but it may just say, thanks for calling ABC Note Buyers. If you know your extension, please dial it now. If you'd like to speak with a live representative, press 0. If you'd like to leave a message, wait for the tone. And so based off the extension they dial, you can tell, what they're interested in and why they called, right? Because if they dial extension 101, you can see here it's the seller extension for my direct mailer. If I go to extensions and I wanted to add a new extension, maybe I want to add extension 102. I might just say, note buyer direct mail piece, note buyer direct mail, and then I would just choose an audio message that I have already recorded, or you could record a new one, or you could go out to Fiverr.com. I'm sure most of you have heard of that. You could go out to Fiverr.com and pay somebody $5 or $10 to professionally record your message. If you just give them a script, they'll send you back the MP3 file, and you can upload it here. Now, let me open that back up, sorry. You can choose to, when they dial the extension, play a message, or if you don't want them to hear a marketing message, you can just instantly forward it to whatever phone number that you want. So maybe you have like a new client acquisition specialist, or you've got a business partner that takes all the phone calls. You could forward them there.
Cool. Will this automatically will also help up with some of the automation, like create contracts and mail that out too?
We don't have any kind of contract generator or anything like that yet. I know it's on the list of things to do, but it's not anywhere high on the list quite yet.
Can you set this up? Well, I know it doesn't create contracts, but let's say we have a non-compete, non-disclosure or agreement that we have people opt in that they're interested in buying our assets. So when they opt into the third mail responder, maybe can we attach a document to it that sends that to them immediately?
Yes, absolutely. So just like a typical email, you could set that up. So ideally what you'd want to do is set the processes and systems up for every stage, everybody that you're going to come in contact with. So, Scott, I'm sure you've heard of this, and I heard this, I can't remember where, but, I forget whose quote this is, but they say basically all sales is just reducing friction, right? And so if you make it easy for people to do business with you, then you're going to be able to obviously do more business, right? So creating systems so people can just opt in and they get the contracts and everything they need right away is the ideal scenario.
Right.
Let's see. So that's the AMP system. Let's see here if there's anything else. So we do have a full-blown domain manager. as well, so you can manage all of your domain names through us. If you need to get email, we can help you get your business email set up through Google Apps. The Client Genie, as you can see, is a full-blown CRM contact management system. You can create custom searches, and so if you have a certain list that you pull from a lot, you can actually turn that into a saved search, and so you can always access it from the home screen here. Do you have any other questions that are coming across, Scott?
We got a few, but I'm just answering. People are like, well, can I add a link into my email? I'm like, yes, you can put a link in just like you send in any other email.
Yeah, so yep, it works just like basic email, pretty much. Email templates do. And then you also get all of your email blast analytics as well. So you can see how many people are opening your emails. This was an email that I sent to a dummy list of contacts, so you can see it's 89% bounce, which is really bad. This is just a demo account. If this is happening, it means something's wrong, right? But that's why it's important to be able to have these statistics, because you want to know how many emails you're sending out, how many are actually being delivered, or people flagging as a spammer, or people opening them. So you do get all of the analytics as well for all of your email blasts.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if there's anything else real quick that I wanted to cover. Oh, one last thing too is when you're an REI BlackBook member, we do our own webinars every other week for members only, and so they're always focused around marketing automation. So our whole thing is, we're not going to teach you how to flip houses or buy and sell notes or anything like that. That's not our gig, right? That's not what we do. Obviously, it's super important. You got to know tactically how to structure deals and all of that, but you also have to know, just as importantly, how to generate the leads. And so that's really where we focus. We focus on how to generate leads, how to systemize and automate your business so you can live that lifestyle that you want. So what we try to provide is time. We do it through software and technology, right? But we want to provide our users time and allow you to build a successful business that makes a lot of money or allows you to spend time with your family or whatever your why is. We want to be able to allow you to do that more efficiently and frankly just do it better, right, while enjoying life more. So we do webinars every other week. That's a part of the thing that you'll be able to attend as a member of REI BlackBook. And most of them, like I said, are focused on marketing. So how to create and launch your first sales funnel, which is at a high level what we've been talking about, where we got webinars dedicated specifically to that. Another question I get a lot is support. So if you guys have questions, you can call us. You can send in support tickets. We've got actual people in the office that answer the phones. So you'll be able to speak with probably Liz or Lisa first. You'll be able to speak with me if needed. We've got over 100 training videos in here as well. So if you get in, obviously I wasn't able to show you everything that the software did. Just know there's a lot more that you can do. If you've got a question, we could probably do it, or it may be in the process. We're always building and adding new things to the platform as well.
Well, we got a question on there I kind of wanted to bring up because I've had 3 people ask it, and I wanted to wait till we got to the thing. They're asking, how do you run comps? Is it through the MLS or other system? And you want to
so we can't. Yeah, so we can't pull directly from the MLS. Just because we're not working with licensed brokers, but we pull from a lot of different sources. Some of them are Zillow and Trulia, Redfin, websites like that.
Yep.
Some of them, depending on where in the country, we can pull from county records and county data, but not always. So the comp data we get is accurate. It's just not always complete. And what I mean by that is the MLS is always going to be the best place to pull your comps, and we're not going to shy away from admitting that. But with that said, our comps give you a good idea of what's going on in the marketplace. It gives you a good pulse on what's going on. But you're still probably going to want to go and do further due diligence and pull a 1-mile radius report or whatever it is from your local MLS.
Michael, your best bet on here, Michael, let's ask a question, is you still want to work with a local agent to help you pull that. The biggest thing you got to realize is you want to try to, what's great about BlackBook, it's going to help you consolidate a lot of the different things. But honestly, you can still jump on there and get a quick AVM and automated valuation model method kind of through the Zillow, Trulia, and things like that. But you always want to double check numbers you always want to have a realtor drive by a house, review an asset before you close on it. So
perfect.
And all their contacts here can be downloaded in Excel or CSV file as well, correct? They need to export.
Correct. So you can import all of your contacts in, and you can import them with all the existing flags and tags. So if you're coming from another system like Podio or anything else, you can import your list as it exists in that system. So if you've already got them segmented out, and you've already been doing all this stuff, but you just like the integrations and the features that we have, you can import all your contacts and they'll exist as they do today. And then if you needed to export them, or if you needed to download the address list to give to a mail house or something like that, you can do that too. Absolutely.
Cool.
So with that said, any other questions?
People are curious what the cost is, buddy.
All right, we're getting into that right now. Jumping right back over here. So basically, we get this question a lot before we get into cost, like, who's this for? I'm brand new. I'm starting out. Do I really need it? The reality is, if you're brand new, you probably don't have a whole lot of leads generated. You haven't spent a whole lot of money on marketing, which is a good thing because you don't have any bad habits, right? If you're experienced and you've got a database of contacts already, and you've got 1,000 people sitting on your list, you've got some money sitting in that list already, and you probably see the value, and you can probably see that, wow, if I would just follow up with these people and create systems, I could probably squeeze some more money out of my existing list, right? So, I kind of went over this. For the newbies, not as big of a deal because there's going to be a learning curve either way, and it's better to learn the right way to do it, right? It's better to learn the right way. For the more experienced people, like I said, you can probably already see the value, and we've got the systems created for you. So you can see down here, I know some people, especially who've been doing it for a long time, you want to try to reinvent the wheel, but there's really no reason to do that, right? I mean, we've got all of the marketing automation tools that you really need in one place. So just try to keep it as simple as possible. And, as you go, you can kind of graduate to the more, complexities, right? So the system is really the key to this all, obviously, like we've been talking about the whole time. So let's just get into it and see what the cost is. I could skip through all this stuff. Obviously, you probably already know if you were to go buy this, it would be more expensive than what I'm going to offer it at today, right?
Yeah, I wish I spent $600 a month on all this stuff. I wish.
Yeah. So my dad was spending probably about $400 to $500 a month on his systems. But what you do get with REI BlackBook is some of the stuff I might not have been able to show is you do get websites, you do get landing pages, you get the CRM, the contact management, you get the email marketing, property analysis, you get single listing websites. So again, for those of you that are still investing in traditional real estate, you do get single listing websites, single property websites, get the call capture system. We actually have a full-blown bird dog affiliate management portal inside of there, so you can manage all of your bird dogs, and then some basic project management tools as well. So if you were to add all that up, it'd be for $12 a month, give or take, probably a couple $100 either way, depending on what you're doing, right? So that's $7,344 a year. Your investment today for REI BlackBook, there's a one-time setup and license fee of $1,997. Now, that comes with a lifetime of upgrades, and then it's $197 per month after that. All right, so you get all the support that I talked about. You can call in, you can talk to us. You get all the tools, the websites, the hosting, all the management, and all that for $1,997 and $197 a month. There's no contracts, no commitment at all. Okay, you can cancel at any time. Hopefully you don't, but of course, we don't have you under contract or anything like that. You don't have to worry about any of the crazy integrations, right? So you don't have to worry about having a third-party website, integrating it with your contact management system, and integrating that with your email marketing system, and all this other stuff creates a lot of chaos, and it's expensive because you're probably going to have to pay somebody to help you either set it up or manage it at some point if you're truly looking to scale. Again,
yeah, I would totally agree with that, Josh. I mean, you're so dead on right about that. I mean, Jesus. The biggest mistake I made early on was not systemizing things. It was always cut and paste, or the Band-Aid method. I'm going to use this,
Right.
I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this. And it costs me more money than if I actually spent the time to put it together correctly, to systemize it. And,
yeah, absolutely.
Most people that are on this call don't have the huge database like I do. I got 150,000 person database. It's huge. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
And so, but you guys are starting off, you've got 1,000 contacts on LinkedIn or 2,000 contacts through the asset managers you pull. You've got to have some way to kind of systemize it, and that's where all your big holes are. You don't know how to systemize it. You don't know how to reach out to people on a regular basis. You send one email out and you don't follow up for 3 months. And so you have a little momentum going, and then you drop the ball. As Josh talked about, this is kind of the wheel. If you picture a wheel, and every spoke being something else like you got in that screen there beforehand. REI Black Book is the hub in the middle that's bringing it all together. And
yep, absolutely. And the whole idea too is, Scott, you wouldn't have all those contacts if you didn't have the system in place to capture them either.
Right.
The idea is today, if you've got 100 contacts, 12 months from now, hopefully you've got 300 or 400 or 1,000, right? And they're all segmented and they're where they need to be. This is a compounding effect. The more deals you do, obviously, the more people you have that can refer you business. But you want to stay in contact with them. I literally today just got a direct mail piece from my realtor. I bought the house I live in, a year ago today, funny enough. And in the mail, I got a 1 year kind of, hey, it's been 1 year. It's crazy. How's your first year going? And then, of course, he asked for referrals. I've probably referred that guy 6 leads, and I think he's done like 2 or 3 just because he stays in contact with me all the time. And if he's willing to do that, I know he's legit.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's kind of what it comes down to. And so so you get REI Black Book. It's fully integrated, so you don't have to worry about that. You also get the content library like I've been talking about, right? So we've got 19 unique campaigns built out. We've got 11 landing page templates already created, 5 brand websites, 19 lead magnets. You can kind of read the rest of this. You can see we've got a ton of content created for you, 19 email autoresponders. We do monthly newsletters that you can kind of rip off and deploy to your list, and also some different documents as well.
Now, you guys just put together you had a weekend event a couple weeks ago, didn't you? Too?
Yep. So that's going to be included too. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of information on that.
I'll just shut up.
But we've spent no, you're good. We've spent well over $75,000 at this point creating this content for you guys. Obviously you might have to go in and create some of your own content for the note business, but if you're doing traditional real estate, we've got so much stuff for you already. So that's well over $75,000 in content. We've also got, again, legitimate top-notch support. You can call in and talk to people in the office here in St. Louis, help you with any questions that you have. Email support, all kinds of different ways to get in contact with us. There's a lot of software companies out there that charge for that. They'll give you their initial package, but then they'll charge you an extra, $30, $40, $50 a month if you want, quote-unquote premium support, which, isn't always even premium when you have to pay for it. And so we include that. There's no additional fee for that. Also, you will get 2 tickets to the REI Black Book Boot Camp, which is a live event. We always do them here in St. Louis twice a year. The next one is the last weekend of September, which is, I think it's like September 30th through October 1st and 2nd or something like that.
Yeah,
the last weekend of September.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. It truly is one of the best marketing and automation events in the industry. We focus solely on creating the systems in your business to help you build the life that you want, right? You're not going to go there and learn how to flip a house necessarily. That's not the whole point of the weekend. You're not going to learn how to buy and sell notes because that's not what we do, right? We're really, really good at what we do, and it's helping small business owners, specifically in the real estate industry, systemize and build their business, and it's 3 full days packed with content specifically on how to do that. So you're going to learn from a panel of experts. You're going to learn from some people at REI Black Book. We bring in some of our top producing users, so guys like Ruben Perez, who I told you about, with the sign on the back of the car program. We've got some guys who do about 30 to 40 deals every year in the D.C. area. And so we bring guys like that in, and they literally just kind of pull the curtain back, or whatever you want to call it, and they just show you how they built their business using the tools we've given them. And the best part about it is, I mean, it's truly not rocket science. It's literally just, it's building the system and listening to what other successful people have done. Maybe put your own little spin on it if you need to. But these guys are not geniuses by any means. The genius in what they do is they listen, they implement, and then they tweak as needed. One of them was that was speaking, I think it was 2 weekends ago. He kind of like quote is nail it then scale it, right? So he perfects it. He figures out a way to outsource what he hates, either to his other employees or maybe virtual assistants, and then he's able to scale it without working much harder, right? And so it's, again, if you have the systems, it allows you to do that. So this isn't like a hypey, get paid to work less type of thing. You can really do that, but you got to put the work up front, right? I'm not selling fairy dust here. I mean, it takes work to build these systems out, but it's worth it in the end, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys don't have to go either. I mean, if you've got a marketing guy on your team, or if your kids are doing your marketing for you, or if they're your social media strategist or whatever you want to say, I mean, we've got people that just send their kids. And we record the event. You can get the recordings and watch it later if needed. But this alone is, you can go to REIBootcamp.com right now, and you can buy a ticket, and it's $19.94. It's almost $2,000 for the event coming up at the end of September. And that's actually the early bird special. That'll go up to about $4,000. So you'll get 2 tickets to the event. And you don't have to attend the one coming up. We do 2 a year, so you can attend one later on down the road if you need to. Okay. Last but not least is you also get access to Ruben's Bandit Sign on Wheels program. So he's built out a complete 4-module basically program online where you can go and you can see how he's set up his systems and processes to attract the drivers, how he recruits the drivers, what he says on the phone when the phone rings. Again, this is specific to real estate, but you learn some negotiation strategies from him, and then how he finds buyers for his quick-turn properties, which he usually exits in less than 7 days. So you'll have access to that, and that's a $997 product, which is all included. Okay. So if all of this did for you, would help you do an extra deal a year, even if it made you $5,000, right? That initial payment would be worth it, at least in my head, right? You have to obviously rationalize it yourself. But if all of it did was help you do an extra deal, and it made your life a little simpler, right? And maybe it even eliminates a couple other software products that you're using, would that be worth it, right? So $2,000, $200 a month, roughly, would that be worth it, right? You're going to have the systems in place. It's going to make your life easier. You're going to save, you're going to eventually save money in the long run by doing more deals, okay? If you take action today, okay, and this offer expires tonight at midnight, at least with all the bonuses, your investment today would be $997. That includes everything we just talked about, lifetime upgrades, $97 a month, okay? So it's not the $197 anymore. It's $97 a month. You get all the support, all the tools we talked about, site hosting, the AMP system, domain names, all that stuff. There's no contracts, no commitments. $997 a month, $97 a month after that. If you're interested in this, and if you want to take action on this tonight, it expires tonight at midnight, with all of the bonuses and everything, you can go to www.reiblackbook.com/notes. Okay, this is not case sensitive, by the way. So you can just go straight to reiblackbook.com/notes, and for the first 6 people who take action on this tonight, and we have a timestamp, so we'll know. The first 6 people who take action on this, you'll get a 1-on-1 hour implementation call. A 1-hour one-on-one implementation session with myself, which we'll set up, and I can help you build out your website. I can help you build your first sales funnel, whatever you want to do. I don't really care what it is, whether it's in your note business or your real estate business or any other business. Doesn't really matter. You'll get a one-on-one implementation call with myself. and that's for the first 6 people who take action. Okay. You also get a 100% money-back guarantee. Okay. So I know that that you may need to run this by the spouse or something like that. I get it. If you take action tonight and for whatever reason you decide it's just not the system for you, or maybe you think you don't have the time to implement it, you get 30 days to kind of test drive it, and that $997 is 100% refundable in those first 30 days. I don't care what your issue is, right? So if you guys are interested, you can take a look here. Go to REIBlackBook.com/notes, and you've got 2 hours and 51 minutes. You can come here. You can see, again, everything we talked about. You've got the Buy Now button right here. You can see all the bonuses and everything that's included. Click Add to Cart or Buy Now. It's going to take you to the next page, and you guys can take advantage of everything that we talked about tonight on this call. Okay? So, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to stick around. But again, everything we talked about, $997, REIBlackBook.com/notes. I'll put it in. I don't know if I can put it in the chat box or not, if everybody will get it.
I'm actually typing it right now. Funny you say that. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll make sure to send it out to everybody here. Somebody's got it there. But literally, it's pretty, hang on here. Shit. Somebody asking, there we go. Question popped up. I can send it all to everybody here. There we go. Thank you, Gerald. 1 second here. Copy. Guys, one of the biggest things to keep in mind is the amount invested. Yeah, it's basically, you're talking in $1,000 here and then $97 a month. That's basically $2,300, $2,400. Has this stayed $97 a month after the 12 months there, Josh?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. There's no increase in the $97 a month, and so like I said too, it also includes any. So if we upgrade the AMP system, or if we add new features to the websites or whatever it is, we're actually in the process of creating a ton of different new upgrades for the CRM itself, just to make it even easier to use. None of that's, there's no paid upgrades for that.
Guys, I tell you,
it's always going to be $97.
Yeah, I spent $1,500. No, I spent more than that. We spent $2,500 plus $500 a month for Infusionsoft, which I have no freaking clue half the time how to use, since we have to hire somebody to do it. But I've got a huge database. This is, I can't tell you. I could tell you, let's see here. I could probably name 20 people just off the top of my head that love this. They use this for their note business, but we all know that notes lead to traditional real estate as well, whether it's REOs, deed and liens, distressed assets, things like that you can move out. And so they use this to automate their time to make things happen. They're not really working 4 hours a week like the 4-hour work week, but they're doing a lot more things on their own versus spending so much time late at the office, or if they're working full-time JOB and they're worried about marketing and getting things in place when they're getting ready to make that break to a full-time job. This allows them to do this. This allows them, and it has allowed them, to really kind of offset the cost of hiring somebody full-time to do it for them, to come in, set it up, forget it, and be done with it, and get rocking and rolling to maximize what 10 hours a week they have or 20 hours a week they have. Okay?
Yep.
And yes, Julian, as they said, if it's, you got was it 30-day money-back guarantee on there if they don't use it, or what was it, you get a full refund?
It's 30 days.
Yeah.
30 days, and you can get a full refund. So let me go back here.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, we have almost, 99% of people that once they get in and use it, the only issue is ever time. I mean, there's literally, once you get in and start playing around with it, you will see how easy it is to use. Hopefully you could already see, the websites and everything, or, you don't have to know any kind of code. There's so many different things you can do with them. And then, of course, if you ever have issues coming in your roadblocks, we're here for support. We've got tons of training videos. We do regular webinars. We do live events. So there's never a shortage in resources for you to, kind of get more information on how to use the platform, strategies on how to better market your business, strategies on how to, streamline your follow-ups so you're not having to do it manually. there's all kinds of different resources for you to educate yourself, not just to build the tools, but we also do have some education built in as well.
And guys, too, if you're worried about kind of where to begin on some things, I'm glad to get on the phone with you for those that sign up and spend a good half hour, 45 minutes to an hour with each of you guys that sign up for it to give you kind of a guideline, a fast lane to helping Josh and everybody else over there to help get your stuff set up for you.
I'm more than happy. Anybody that takes advantage of this offer tonight, I'm more than happy to hop on, a separate individual webinar with everybody, and like you said, kind of just go through a 30 to 45 minute, best practices or how to get started, where to get started using the platform. So I'm happy to do that too.
Cool. What other questions you guys have? Now's the time to take advantage of this. Trust me, you guys will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah,
and there's a reason. Josh did a good job, but there's a reason that REI Black Book is the software that fortune builders, rich dad, poor dad, a whole variety of the huge name training have Black Book REI as their preferred servicing thing because they do a tremendous job. And I know I've known Damon for years, just a great guy. I mean, he's a St. Louis Cardinals fan, so I'll let him slide with that a little bit since we're Giants fans. But hey, the Giants can't win it every year.
No, just every other year, right? Isn't that what they do?
Yeah, exactly. It's our year, baby. It's our year. Question here: does this work on both Windows and Mac?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It works on both Windows and Mac. It's the whole entire platform itself is mobile friendly. So as long as you have access to the internet or you've got a data plan on your tablet or your phone, you can use it on your phone or tablet as well. So the whole platform itself will, just like the websites, will adjust to the size of your screen.
Hector asked a question. Is there a promo code we can use to get a special price for the service? They don't have to enter a special code, do they, or anything tonight?
No. If they just go to that page, that's all the bonuses and everything are included. So if they just go here, I'll show you real quick.
It's a special page just for you guys tonight, everybody. It's not a generic page. If you go to REIBlackBook.com/notes, everything's set up there.
It'll take you to this home page here. You just click on Buy Now, and then you can see $997 would be the total, and then there's $97 a month, but you don't pay that until 30 days out.
Yeah. Cool. Can you look? I submitted him. I'm not sure it took. Can you check with him? I got a 14-miler tomorrow. All right. Yeah, we can check with him, Lori. No problem. Lori, I guarantee.
I will go. Yeah, I will go in tonight and just ensure everybody's. You should get an email right away, or within like 5 minutes, with your username and password. I'll give you guys my email address. If you buy tonight and you don't get any information, check your spam folder. But if you don't get any information, shoot me an email. My email is just josh@REIBlackBook.com, and I'll enter it in the chat box. Does the chat box go to everybody?
Yeah, it should. If you say down, I'll send it out to everybody.
Yeah, it's just Josh. Oh, here we go. Organized. No, I can't send it to everybody. But yeah, if you send it out, it's just Josh at REIBlackBook.com.
Hang on here. Josh at REIBlackBook.com, and I'll send it to all. I'll respond to Lori's. Okay. Cool. Any other questions, anybody? Hopefully those are helpful. Yeah, guys, if you joined us late, yes, I will be working. I'll get this the recording uploaded and resent out tonight so that you guys joined it late so you can take advantage of it tonight. But you're going to have to ask. I mean, honestly, the services they provide on here are great for you with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you've just seen the last 20 minutes, it's worth the time to go ahead and sign up and understand, oh, shit, I got all that for free, or I got that with that for it as well. Nice. All right.
Right. Yeah, the event alone is worth well over $1,000. I mean, it's a pretty awesome event.
Yeah, totally. All right. Any other questions, everybody, before we let Josh go, because it's after 9 o'clock there in St. Louis like it is here? Any other questions? Like I said, guys, REIBlackBook.com/notes. Josh, thank you for being so responsive, answering all these questions. It was great. I know that Damon talked big about you. Actually, I was texting him and I said, man, Josh, you're doing a great job explaining it. And he goes, I wasn't just whistling Dixie at you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it made sense. That's good.
Totally has.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to certainly direct them my way. I appreciate your flexibility. I know Damon said he was going to be able to do it at first, but glad I was able to hop on. I know I kept you guys a little bit late tonight, but hopefully it was well worth your time.
Totally was. All right, guys. Well, we will wrap it up then for the evening. If you guys are not already registered for next Monday's Note webinar, the Note Civil War with myself and Faquan Bilal, you definitely want to be a part of it. I think a lot of you are. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us tonight on the Monday Note. Yes, like I said, I'll try to get the replay up and out tonight for you guys to take advantage of this, but you've got to take advantage of this tonight before you wrap up because you don't want to miss out on getting it basically at half price of what normal pricing is. So once again, Josh, thanks so much. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you guys all at the top.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks, Josh. Bye.
Bye.